The Georgia Bulldogs will play their first big home game of their season tomorrow as they take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Now, the game will be played between the hedges, and that refers to that lush green growth around the field at UGA's Sanford Stadium. But why do they have hedges on the field? Our resident Bulldog, the Y Guy, explains.
Nothing will make a Bulldog's blood boil more than to see someone messing with their hedges. Sanford Stadium in Athens is not just home to the Georgia Bulldogs, it's the place where college football meets horticulture. The field inside the stadium is surrounded by lush green privet. It's why the term between the hedges is known throughout the football world. Now we'll explain why Sanford Stadium's shrubbery is a well-known part of Bulldog history. According to the school's sports information department, it was UGA graduate Charlie Martin who came up with the idea back in the 1920s. Martin fell in love with the Georgia football team and after graduation went to work in the UGA athletic department. During a trip to the Rose Bowl in California, he was impressed by the bright red flowers surrounding the field there and thought roses would make a nice addition to the stadium that was then under construction in Athens. But horticulturalists at UGA told Martin roses wouldn't thrive and instead suggested hedges of privet ligustrum. When Sanford Stadium opened in 1929, 30,000 people watched Georgia defeat Yale between the hedges. By the way, not every game played at Sanford Stadium has been between the hedges. In 1996, Athens hosted Olympic soccer. The stadium couldn't accommodate the larger field with the hedges, so clippings were removed and replanted after the games. The hedges were removed again during a recent renovation of the stadium, but they're back. And the Bulldogs are back with football games, commencement exercises, and freshman orientation, all taking place between college football's historic hedges.
And there you have it. If you have a question for Jerry Carnes, our Y Guy, send it over to Facebook, Twitter, or you can just email it to him. Good one, Jerry. Very good.